that crores of rupees that were earned through this medium was spent for Punjab and Goa elections.
TMC Minister Akhil Giri is facing severe backlash for raising objectionable remarks on the president during a public rally in Nandigram. In a viral video, Giri was seen mocking the looks of President Draupadi Murmu. He said that I know that people should not be judged on the basis of looks. However, have you seen how our president looks? BJP's Amit Malviya slammed the TMC Minister Akhil Giri over his remarks. He said Giri has stooped to new lows through this level of discourse. While attacking TMC, Malviya said the president hates on the tribal community and that Mamata Banerjee's party incites anti-tribal sentiments. Former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi's assassination convict Nalini Sriharan is set to reach Katpadi police station to sign parole. After being in jail for 31 years for a crime, Nalini, along with 5 other convicts, were freed by the Supreme Court yesterday. A 57-year-old dentist who was accused of sexual harassment by a woman was found dead on the railway track at Kundapura near Udupi railway station in Karnataka. The police have taken 5 persons, including an Indian.
Grisly murder, horrific details coming through, where a young couple moved in from Mumbai and then set up base here and started living in Delhi. But Aftab murdered Shraddha in May 2022, chopped her body into 35 different pieces. Over 18 days, tried to dispose of these pieces in the jungles in the Chhatarpur and Mehroli region. He has confessed to his crimes, but this entire aspect came to light only in November 2022. Horrific details coming to the fore, including the fact that Aftab's call records point to the fact that he was in touch with other Hindu girls too. The angle of luring Hindu girls in this aspect of love jihad is also now being probed. But the officials and the authorities, the agencies, South Delhi Police, Mehroli Police Station, more importantly, wanting to trace out the bodies or the parts of Shraddha's body, which Aftab tried to dispose of in these jungles and to try and retrieve as much as they can. They have currently got 5 days of custody of Aftab and they have to produce more evidence. The cops claim the murder of commissioning of crime, that is chopping of her body, has been recovered, and the cops are also claiming that several parts of Shraddha's body have also been recovered. They've all been sent to the FSL or the forensic lab for determination and DNA testing. Aftab had strangled her in a fit of rage after a fight, and that's how he had killed her. But he slept in the same room where he had kept her body and chopped it and then kept it in the fridge. He cleaned up the fridge. The neighbors had no inkling what had been going on for the last 6 to 7 months in that house. Anshul and Anvit now join us live. Anshul, you are at the residence or the place where they were staying. Have you been able to track the landowner or the house owner under whose name was the lease in? And did the house owner know that there were 2 people supposed to be residing there?
So yes, the house owner, what we have been told, that the house owner lives very nearby, but since this incident came to light, we have not been able to trace him. We tried contacting him several times, but he has not been answering his calls. In fact, now his phone has also turned switch off. But yes, those are the main questions that needs to be answered on whose name was that lease made, and if the girl's name was also mentioned in that lease, Shraddha's name was also mentioned in that lease, because remember, just right 3 days after they shifted to this house, Shraddha was killed, and that is the reason why none of the neighbors in this entire colony have any idea that a woman also used to live over here. Now you see the mentality of this person, Aftab, that the kind of mentality that he possesses. He slept in the same room where the body of his girlfriend was kept. He chopped that body, kept it in the fridge, and he stayed in that same room. He disposed that body over 18 days, and after that also he tried to make sure that it's normal. He used to go to his workplace. He used to come back. He used to order food from online food delivering apps such as Zomato and Swiggy as well. And also he did not speak to his neighbors much, so the neighbors also didn't have much idea of what kind of person that he was. But also if you see this entire locality, the locals have been telling us that there are very few cases in which the renters are verified by the police or the police verification is done, because there are many people residing in this area from foreign descendancy as well, and that is the reason why the neighbors also have a very big question mark, and they also do not know the kind of person that he was. So yes, in the upcoming days, in the next 4 to 5 days,
he had plied his wares as a chef before working with a call center, and he used that knowledge of how to cut a body or and meat to try and chop Shraddha's body into 35 different pieces, but it's not an easy task to chop a human body. It is not easy, and to do it without nobody getting an inkling of it is something shows how devious and diabolic Aftab was. Anvit, what have the cops been able to get so far? Have they been able to recover parts of Shraddha's body? What all has Aftab confessed to? And have they got him on record under Section 164 of the CRPC? Because he can change his statement later.
Correct, Anand. As far as the recovery is concerned, police are saying that they have recovered some parts of Shraddha's body, but they have been decomposed beyond recognition and mostly the bones are left. Now these bones will be sent for forensic examination and for DNA profiling. Sample of Shraddha's father has already been taken by the police, by the medical experts, and that sample will now be used for DNA profiling to identify whether these body parts are of Shraddha's or of somebody else, or this man is still trying to mislead the investigation. Now, based on his confession, as you mentioned, police have built this entire case. He is yet to be, his statement, official statement is yet to be recorded before a magistrate. This is all police, this is all the confession of his in the police remand, which will not be admissible in court. Therefore, the challenge before the police is to scientifically corroborate the evidences with his statement and build a stronger case against him and prove at every step that how this entire incident unfolded. So police are saying they'll be using CCTV footage of his arrest, of his moving out of the houses at 2 a.m. or at odd hours when he used to step out to throw away the body parts, and the DNA profiling and forensic examination further of the fridge, of the room and of the areas from where the body parts are being recovered. That will also be used to corroborate whatever he has told the police, and then a stronger case will be built, after which the police will file a charge sheet, because the offense of weapon is what we are learning has also been recovered. It is a saw that usually carpenters use, and he had gone out and bought that saw, and he had used a saw to chop the bodies off into 35 parts. So that saw has also been recovered, and many other articles have been recovered which will be forensically examined, and only after that police will come out with a detailed charge sheet as the trial begins in this entire matter.
What a villain. How gruesome, how grisly. He goes out, buys a carpenter's saw, saws off his own partner who he has strangled to death, her body to 35 pieces, stores that in the fridge, cleans up the entire house, sleeps in that very room where her body parts are inside the fridge, and then over 18 days goes into the jungles to try and dispose them in the dead of the night at around 2 a.m. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the story of this gruesome, grisly murder. That we wind up this edition of The Nation at 5. Stay with us. Viewpoint with Zaka up next.
All right, Law Minister Kiren Rijiju wrote a piece for News18.com where he talked about the 5 blunders committed by India's first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru when it came to Kashmir and its accession back in 1947. Today, he wrote a follow-up piece insisting that the then Maharaja Hari Singh was ready to join India even before the 26th of October 1947, which is when the instrument of accession was signed. In fact, Mr. Rijiju goes on to make the point that even before partition happened, even before India, as the birth anniversary of India's first Prime Minister.
It's the next round of a prolonged Centre versus Nehru war of words on the Kashmir accession. Keeping up a long-standing heat on the Congress party on the first Prime Minister's handling of the crisis, and persisting ills that could allegedly have been avoided. Writing for News18.com, the Law Minister termed the Congress party's reaction to his stated Nehru's 5 blunders on Kashmir as disappointing and the presentation of a sanitized history. Rijiju said Karan Singh failed to address 4 of the 5 Nehruvian blunders pointed out, with only claims of Nehru delaying the accession weakly denied. The Congress party's mission, he said, was only to distort history to protect Nehru.
प्रधानमंत्री रहते हुए पंडित जी ने जो किए हैं वो पब्लिक स्क्रूटनी में आना चाहिए, कोई भी हो। मैं सिर्फ इतना कहना चाहता हूं कि जो इतिहास है, इतिहास को कभी बदलना नहीं चाहिए और इतिहास को गलत तरीके से पेश नहीं करना चाहिए। लेकिन नेहरू जी ने ही कहा कि जल्दबाज नहीं होना चाहिए और कश्मीर के बाकी जो मेजॉरिटी मुस्लिम है उनसे पूछना चाहिए और ख़ास तौर पर शेख अब्दुल्ला से बातचीत करके उनका इंटरेस्ट को ध्यान में रखते हुए ही विलय का बात करना चाहिए।
Opposition parties, the Congress at the centre and Abdullah's National Conference in Jammu and Kashmir, insist there's nothing to this except Nehru-bashing political agendas.
So their incompetence, Nehru cannot be responsible for the incompetence of the present government and the present leadership in Bharatiya Janata Party and in the country.
आज मुल्क की इकोनॉमी खतरे में है, आज मुल्क की जो है बेरोजगारी बढ़ रही है, आज मुल्क के अंदर जो बाकी चीजें हैं जिनका जवाब चाहिए, उन जवाबों को उनका जवाबों का वो जो जवाब उनके पास नहीं है तो वो इस तरफ चल पड़े हैं.
Rijiju had come down hard on Nehru last month, citing what he termed Nehru's blunders and the long-term repercussions. Questions have been raised on Nehru's alleged dithering still hurting India, on Nehru's alleged indecision leading to massacres of Hindus in Kashmir, and even whether Nehru should have left J&K's accession to Sardar Patel. Will the truth on Jammu and Kashmir's accession ever emerge clear?
All right, so what exactly is the truth behind Kashmir's accession? What are the claims and the counterclaims that are being made in the aftermath of Mr. Rijiju's piece for News18.com? This is what Mr. Rijiju has claimed, that Karan Singh gave a sanitized history about the events leading up to the accession of Kashmir. The Congress is saying that these are irresponsible statements being made on India's first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Kiran Rijiju going on to say that it was a historical lie and that Nehru's role in Kashmir's accession, his dubious role, needs to be protected. That's why all of these years it has not come out. The Congress's claim is that it was Maharaja Hari Singh who dithered, not Nehru. He was in fact dreaming of independence. That's why he took so long to sign the instrument of accession. Kiran Rijiju in that piece says it was not Maharaja Hari Singh, it was Nehru who dilly-dallied. It was Nehru who delayed the signing of the instrument of accession. The Congress claiming that finally when the Pakistan raiders came in to Kashmir, that's when the Maharaja decided to accede to India. Kiran Rijiju in the piece says that in July of 1947, Maharaja Hari Singh had made an offer to accede to India, which he claims Nehru had rebuffed. This was well before India's independence. The Congress claiming that it was Sheikh Abdullah who championed the accession as he sided with Nehru, and it was important to get Sheikh Abdullah's view on the accession, which is why it got delayed till October 1947. And finally, Kiran Rijiju claiming that Nehru wanted more than accession. He was playing for a particular vote bank. That's why he wanted to keep Sheikh Abdullah in the good books. The Congress claiming that Sardar Patel, who was ultimately responsible for more than 500 princely kingdoms eventually joining the Indian Union, he was okay with Kashmir going to Pakistan. Let me now bring in our guests who are joining us. RP Singh, BJP National Spokesperson, joining us. Harshpreet Singh Khadial is spokesperson of the Congress Party. Sushil Pandit is a Kashmiri activist. And we have Majid Haidari, senior journalist, joining us as well. RP Singh, let me start with you first. The role of Nehru, which are you doing this now, and that too on Children's Day, which is the birth anniversary of Pandit Nehru. What happened 70 years ago, it's all part of recorded history. The BJP is trying to twist history, distort history, and defame Pandit Nehru.
Well, first, what can be better day than today, the birth anniversary of Nehru itself, to understand him better. To understand Indian perspective. One. Secondly, history has been fed to us by the ruling party as per their requirement and need. It is not a true history. I'll give you one more example other than the Nehru history. There's one more example I'll give you. It's said that the independence we got independence just because of the Congress, and Congress was the only party which got us independence. I'll give you one example. 1885 Congress was formed. 1872, 66 were blown by the cannon, by the Britishers. Nehru's personal friendship with Sheikh Abdullah, had he not gone with the friendship, the Kashmir would have merged in a normal fashion. If it happened in August in a normal fashion, July they approached us. It's on record. And Prime Minister himself is on record in the Parliament.
Let me go to Harshpreet Khadial. Howsoever a greater leader may be, fact is that leaders are also human. Why is the Congress party shying away from what was clear?
All these allegations, these arguments are baseless, and we won't indulge because talking about them would basically mean lowering our own standards. Number two, politics of fate on the then Prime Minister's birth anniversary. The BJP doing what it does best, what it knows best, hate, politics of hate. Number two, we are astonished that the Bharatiya Janata Party has not attributed the failure of demonetization, LAC intrusion to the Congress Party, to the then Prime Minister, Mr. Nehru, that, they are responsible for the failure of demonetization and LAC intrusion.
No.
All the other
Ashwin,
issues
let's
are
stick to the issue at hand, please. Let's
Number
talk
three,
about Nehru's role in the accession
I have
of
already
Kashmir.
asked for...
No, I know, but you're deviating.
This
You're
is
not
connected
talking
with the
about...
issue.
Stick to the
Let
issue.
the people decide if it is connected with the issue or not. Zakka, just allow me an uninterrupted minute. Number three, if the blame game would have helped the situation of Jammu and Kashmir in 2022, please blame us. But it does not even help by 1%. I tell you what the blunders of the Bharatiya Janata Party are in Jammu and Kashmir. There is no law and order there. It's in shambles. There has been an exodus happening there. The education model has failed. The Medicare has failed.
Ashpreet, again, you are beating around the bush. You are talking about 1,000 issues not connected to the issue at hand.
I think
Please talk about the issue at hand. Was it Nehru or not who delayed the instrument of accession? You are free to disagree. You are free to disagree.
100% disagree. Please allow me 50 seconds.
So then talk about that. You've already taken 1 minute. You've talked about all other issues except the issue that we are debating tonight. And now you're asking for 50 seconds more.
Because you do not allow me to talk.
Because you are going around beating around the bush. Talk about the issue at hand. Talk about the debate that we're having tonight on the show.
See, this is what the debate is all about. It is 2022 going on and the BJP is still talking about 1950s, 1947s. How does that even is relevant? How does that even make sense? The point that makes sense is
if the
that at the present
1950s
day,
and 47 is making countries suffer still, was wrong in knowing that and then trying to correct the path.
Bharatiya Janata Party is indulging into blame game to hide their own failures.
Mistakes which were
Everybody
committed
knows
in
about
1947,
Again, you are
they
deviating
still
from
wasn't
the
the
issue
nation.
at hand. One second, one second.
If there are any blunders,
One second. Let me go to Sushil Pandit.
They are exodus,
Ashpreet,
they are
you have to talk
there are no
about the issue
education,
at hand.
there is no Medicare,
Whether
there is no
Nehru's
job,
role needs
there
to
is
be
no
examined on
employment, there
the
is no
delay in the
electricity,
signing of the
there
instrument of
is no
accession.
accountability,
Sushil Pandit,
there is no
Sushil Pandit.
transparency.
No,
You
leave
do not want to
aside
talk about-
whether this is a diversionary tactic, deviating tactic. I'll come to that in 1 second. I want to talk about, I think it's important that a correct sequence of events, a correct version of history is placed in the public domain before the people of this country. Now, if it was not Nehru who was responsible for the delay in the signing of instrument of accession, then let the Congress party come forth and say that. In fact, Karan Singh has come forth and said that. He has said that he didn't know at any point that Maharaja Hari Singh wanted to sign the instrument of accession before 26th October 1947. This is his son. He says he was in the room when the instrument was signed. Sushil Pandit.
You're asking me, Zakka?
Yes. Yes, Sushil Pandit, to you, yeah.
Hello. Are you asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you. Yes, Sushil Pandit. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. No, I can understand why people want to skirt this important issue of our history. There'll always be time to discuss, and we have always discussed the current situation in Kashmir. But you cannot brush under the carpet the unsavory facts of history just because you want to beat the present government with the failures in present-day Kashmir. Incidentally, what Kashmir suffers from is not the law and order problem, which my fellow panelists just referred. It is jihad. And it is because how they Kashmir built it in a manner that today we are where we are. It is himself on 24th of July 19 admitted that Maharaja Hari Singh wanted to accede to India. And I told him, what is the rush? See, the public position was, what is the rush? Let us ask the people and let us ask the popular leaders like Sheikh Abdullah. The real issue is, he rebuffed the Prime Minister after Prime Minister who came on behalf of Maharaja Hari Singh to negotiate, that they will not talk to anyone unless Sheikh Abdullah was appointed the Prime Minister and sent to negotiate. This is how it is.
Okay, so let me ask Majid Hydari, was Nehru's friendship with Sheikh Abdullah blinding him from the reality that had there been this delay in signing of the instrument of accession, not only were was this getting to an India-Pakistan war situation? The Pakistani raiders were making their way onto Srinagar. But more importantly, lakhs of people died in those 3 or 4 months. The delay that was caused in signing of the instrument of accession. So, did Nehru's friendship with Sheikh Abdullah?
And this is why.
Yeah, Majid
This is
Hydari
why
did.
it is not a mistake. It is not a blunder.
Yeah.
It is nothing less than high treason.
Okay.
And Nehru should be prosecuted posthumously.
Let Majid
for high
Hydari respond.
treason.
Let Majid Hydari
That
respond
is
to that.
precisely the reason it cannot be brushed aside,
Okay.
even if you admit.
Got it.
that
Yeah.
this was done by
Let Majid
Nehru
Hydari
by a
respond. Yeah.
mistake.
Majid Hydari.
Firstly, happy Children's Day. And if Nehruji were asked to find a blunder in what he had done, he would firstly say dominated region would have never become the part of Jammu and the mainland India at that time. So firstly, let's thank. But the point is that BJP has so much of hatred and grudge against Nehruji that even the launch of private rocket from ISRO has been delayed by a day. It could have happened on Children's Day, but it has been done for November 15. Because on children
Talking about, Children's Day and rocket launches, you're not talking about the issue that is at hand. Majid Hydari.
A Muslim region, a Muslim dominated princely state of Jammu and Kashmir became part of India only because
Nehruji wanted to establish his friend Sheikh Abdullah, and that has continued in the dynasty. Later on, Mrs. Gandhi did for Farooq Abdullah. Rajiv Gandhi did, in 1987. The last part of the problem in 30 years has been because of Rajiv Gandhi, because he wanted to establish Farooq Abdullah as the Chief Minister of the state. So they have special love for Abdullahs, and that
How are you responding to what Congress is saying, that you are sort of kindling all of these debates from 70 years ago only because you want to hide your failures in Kashmir today? RP Singh.
Sir, I mean, they are not related at all. I mean, what is happening in Kashmir is different than what happened that time and what happened that time. There are no calendars being brought out every month about which day or which market will be shut or which government premises will work or not work. So that all is gone today, and now there's no more slogans of "Hum kya chahte azadi." So
one of the things, Ashpreet Kadyal, that Rijiju has written in this piece is also about Article 370 and 35A. It was Pandit Nehru who insisted that.
So, and it's the people who decide what's relevant and what's not. First, we answer to historians and not historians. The people who are distorting history and not talking history, we are not accountable and responsible to answer to their lives. The people of Jammu and Kashmir are also looking at this issue, and they are saying only one thing. Is that even relevant?
Is there as well? How is what happened in 1947 and the delay in the signing of instrument of accession related to what is happening in today's Kashmir? Please, what is the connection?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. It is the Bharatiya Janata Party that is one distorting history to cover their failures, to indulge into blame game, so that the people can be distracted from the real issues of Jammu and Kashmir, which are, if you say, it was the promise of the Bharatiya Janata Party that once we do this, there would be absolute peace and prosperity in the state. What happened to your promise? Where is that promise of yours? Why do people still have to migrate, leave their hometown, leave their families, just to be able to earn some pennies?
Okay,
This is what the Bharatiya Janata Party's governance is all about.
Pandit, Congress again saying that the country knows the role of great leaders, and great leaders also have their faults and their flaws, and it's entirely possible. I mean, today it is an accepted fact that Nehru's decision to go to the UN on a plebiscite, on a 1948 plebiscite, was a wrong decision. That is one of the singular reasons why the Kashmir issue is still hanging fire even today. That's the one big stick that the Pakistanis even today beat us.
1947. That is the reason today jihad persists in Kashmir. The seeds were sown then. There is an absolute link between the two. So if you want to run away from history and talk about present, you will have much to answer for there as well. You cannot run away from these facts.
Okay, Majid Hydari, which is not quite how the facts played out back then in 1947. So who was responsible for the delay? Was it Maharaja Hari Singh, or was it Nehru and his blinded friendship with Sheikh Abdullah?
It was Nehruji, because of whom we still have Jammu and Kashmir in the first
Majid
place.
Hydari, thank you.
It was Nehruji.
Majid Hydari, thank you, yeah.
Zaka Sahab, I have a very humble submission. Let's Kashmir is not witnessing. Thank you.
I'm all for holding governments to account. I'm all for, debating things that are happening in the present, in the here and now. But if you don't settle questions of history, I think that's a great disservice, not just to those historical figures, but also it's a great disservice to all students of history, to all citizens of this country, because like I said, no one is infallible if mistakes. The interim protection given to Jacqueline Fernandez till Tuesday. So tomorrow, we're expecting the order on her anticipatory bail plea. Let me go across to Ananya, who has more details on this. Ananya, so the court had reserved the orders. Interim protection has been extended till tomorrow. What was Jacqueline and her lawyer's case before the court for while applying for bail?
Well, definitely warned by him, his fake personality. And in fact, what has been also been stated by Jacqueline Fernandez is that she has been cooperative in the investigation. She has always appeared on all of the dates that were there. And she's not at all a flight risk. On the contrary, the Enforcement Directorate says that Jacqueline Fernandez was actually trying to flee from the country. However, the counter argument that has been placed by Jacqueline, accused is not arrested during the pendency of the investigation, then there is high chance that he or she may secure a bail, and that's the case what Jacqueline Fernandez is also, because she has not been arrested so far.
All right, we'll see what the court pronounces tomorrow in its order. This was an anticipatory bail plea that's been moved by Jacqueline Fernandez. She says she too is a victim of conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar's machinations, but the investigating agency begs to differ. They feel that she has been very much part of his con network, as it were. All right, and finally, as we wrap up, Tata Power and News18 Network's Sustainable is Attainable initiative invites Indians to embrace a green future. Here's a special push for a greener earth for our children, right here today on Children's Day.
Dear moms and dads, we are excited about our future and can't wait to grow up, because we know you are building an amazing world for us. A cleaner, greener and sustainable world. A better world to attain all our dreams. Happy Children's Day!
Tata Power. Sustainable is attainable. An initiative by News18 Network.
Fight, and Aftab then allegedly strangled Shraddha to death. But that is not where it ended. That's where it began. Because thereafter, he allegedly chopped her up, her body into 35 different pieces, stored it in a refrigerator, and then scattered the remains in a forest over the next 3 weeks. He used to step out at 2 a.m. every morning to dispose of one body part after another. Now, this shocking crime, it remained under wraps for the next at least 6 months, till the police arrested Aftab this weekend. Now, according to the police, Aftab was inspired by the crime thriller Dexter. This is the story of Aftab and Shraddha. Listen in.
I'm currently standing at the murder scene where it is being said that the body parts, the 35 parts of the body in which it were cut, they were thrown at this location.
Murder most brutal, unimaginable and unthinkable in the national capital. The arrest of Aftab has helped the police crack a 6-month-old murder case. Bone-chilling details have emerged. Accused Aftab murdered his live-in partner Shraddha, chopped her body into 35 pieces, scattered them across Delhi to escape the law.
साउथ जिले के पीएस मेहरोली में एक मर्डर केस रजिस्टर हुआ, जिसमें ये मालूम चला कि एक लड़का लड़की लिव-इन रिलेशनशिप में थे. उसमें लड़के ने लड़की का गला घोट के मर्डर कर दिया था मिड ऑफ मई में. ये दोनों लड़का लड़की मुंबई से आते हैं और वहाँ से आके अप्रैल लास्ट में या मई फर्स्ट वीक में दिल्ली में बस जाते हैं. हमारे यहाँ पे एरिया में किराए पे घर पे रहना स्टार्ट कर देते हैं. इनके लिव इन रिलेशनशिप में झगड़े बढ़ जाते हैं और किसी मिड ऑफ मई में इनका झगड़ा ज़्यादा बड़ा हो जाता है और लड़का लड़की गला दबाकर हत्या कर देता है. इसके बाद लड़का जो है लड़की की बॉडी डिस्पोज पार्ट्स में कट करके अलग अलग जगह पे बॉडी के पार्ट्स फेंकता है।
26-year-old Shraddha worked at a Mumbai MNC call center where she met Aftab. The two started dating and moved in together. After Shraddha's family didn't approve of their relationship, the couple eloped to Delhi and started living in a flat in Mehroli. Aftab killed Shraddha after the latter sought marriage. In May, Aftab strangulated and killed Shraddha, kept her body parts inside the fridge for 18 days and discarded her chopped limbs in a plastic bag at 2 a.m. every night. In an exclusive FIR copy accessed by CNN News 18, Shraddha's father has revealed that the family was against the interfaith marriage from the very beginning. The couple's relation had gone bad and Aftab physically abused his daughter. He filed a missing complaint after he was unable to establish contact with her. The Delhi police arrested Aftab yesterday, who was missing for months after the murder. Aftab allegedly confessed that he killed Shraddha as she was pressuring him to marry her.
All right, we're getting more and more inside details into this grisly and what we do know is that Aftab worked as a chef. He worked in several hotels before joining the call center in Mumbai where both of them met, Shraddha and Aftab. It was during his time as a chef that he learned how to cut meat into smaller pieces, and that obviously came in handy in disposing of the body of his girlfriend. In fact, what is even more gruesome is after killing her, after strangulating her to death, he cut her up into 35 pieces, put her in a fridge, and he murdered her. He led a perfectly normal life after the murder. He met no one else in the neighborhood. It's quite staggering that no one else in the neighborhood came to know of this. Whether it was either the landowner, the house owner, or for that matter, any of the neighbors. He has expressed no regret after this killing. In fact, he has said this in a statement to the police, but then that statement has to be backed up with corroborative evidence. It cannot stand on its own.
So yes, Aka, to understand that, we have to understand the sequence of event of how they landed up in this place. Now remember, both these people, Shraddha and Aftab, eloped from Mumbai after their parents were against their marriage. They come to Delhi on the 8th of May. On the 8th of May, they book a hotel in the Paharganj area of the national capital. Since it is very close to the railway stations, they book a hotel over there. Since Shraddha, when they came to find her, and they found this log, they went to the nearest police station, and in that police station they went ahead and filed a missing complaint against for their daughter Shraddha. Now on the 16th, they shifted here on the 13th of May. On the 16th of May is the day what police sources have been telling us, that it was on the 16th of May that he strangled her to death. So many of the people, many of the neighbors who were residing in this area had no idea that a girl was also residing in this place, and that is the reason why the locals have no clue absolutely that a girl named Shraddha was actually also living in this house, because all they saw was Aftab. And how did they used to see Aftab? Because Aftab was working over here in the national capital itself, and he used to go to his office on the regular time. He used to come back, he used to order food. After he gets back from office, he used to order food, and that is all the interaction that any neighbor had with him over the past 6 months. He was not very friendly to the neighbors, but yes, the kind of image that he tried to project to the neighbors is that everything is fine and nothing untoward has happened in this entire situation, or nothing untoward has happened inside the house. Now speaking about Aftab, a lot can be said about his mentality when he was being in the same house where he killed his girlfriend, a girl who eloped from her house to live with the love of her life, and in just 1 week she is killed, cut to pieces, disintegrated, and the body is disposed of in the nearby forest. So there is absolutely no idea how many body parts could be found in that forest, in what situation can that be found, and that is the biggest challenge that the Delhi police is facing right now. Because yes, to build a very airtight case, the Delhi police, the primary evidence that Delhi police requires is body parts that needs to be found, so that the DNA could be corroborated with that of Shraddha and her parents. So yes, the initial challenge in front of the Delhi police is to find the body, make sure that the DNA samples match, and build an airtight case against Aftab, in which the entire investigation that the Delhi police has done, that should be loopholes free. So this is the biggest challenge in front of the Delhi police, to make sure that Aftab is goes ahead and gets the maximum punishment, because remember, this is a rarest of the rare case, and he should get the maximum punishment, is what Delhi police is also seeking right now, because they are making sure that they leave no stone unturned in making sure that
we'll leave it at that. We'll see how
is
the
brought
story
to the
plays
books
out.
of
Of course,
justice
as
at
Anshul was saying, it is absolutely essential for the Delhi police to be able to recover the body. DNA and forensic evidence needs to be collected, and corroborative evidence to show how Aftab was of a sick mind and how he did what he did, not just killing his girlfriend, but also cutting her up into 35 pieces and staying in the same room and in the same house and disposing her body parts one after another over a period of 18 days. In fact, Aftab and Shraddha actually met in Mumbai, where they were both working for a call center. Subsequently, after her family objected to their affair, they moved to Delhi. Her father raised an alarm after her disappearance, which then eventually led the police to arrest Aftab. Here's a report from their family home in Vasai in Mumbai, and that's where these two met.
मुंबई से सटे 60 किलोमीटर दूर पालघर के इसी घर में आता है, जहां पर श्रद्धा वालकर अपने पिता, अपने भाई के साथ यहां पर शुरुआत दौर में रहती थी, और यहां पर रहने के बाद जो लक्ष्मण नडार थे यहाँ इस घर में आते, इस घर में आकर श्रद्धा के पिता से शिकायत करते हैं कि श्रद्धा की 2-3 महीने से कोई अता पता नहीं है। आपको बताना चाहेंगे कि शुरुआत के दिनों में श्रद्धा अपने पिता और भाई के साथ इसी फ्लैट में रहा करती थी, और उसके पिता और भाई, ये जो रिलेशनशिप था आफ्ताब के साथ, उसके साथ उनके साथ फेवर में नहीं थे। यही वजह है कि फैमिली के बीच मनमुटाव हुआ और श्रद्धा वालकर अपने परिवार को छोड़कर इसी इलाके के एक दूसरे अपार्टमेंट में आफ्ताब के साथ लिविंग रिलेशन में रहने लगती है। लेकिन श्रद्धा और आफ्ताब किसी को बिना बताए हुए मुंबई से दिल्ली शिफ्ट हो जाते हैं और दिल्ली के छतरपुर इलाके में एक फ्लैट में वहां रह रहे थे। लेकिन 5 महीने तक जब कोई संपर्क नहीं हुआ, तब जो लक्ष्मण नडार है उन्होंने परिवार को बताया, और परिवार जब अपनी बेटी के हालचाल जानने के लिए गया, फोन पे बातचीत करने की कोशिश की, तो श्रद्धा का फोन नहीं लग रहा था। अंत में यहाँ के लोकल पुलिस स्टेशन, मानिकपुर पुलिस स्टेशन में मिसिंग कंप्लेंट दर्ज कराई गई।
All right, let me now open this up to our panelists here in our studio. Shashank Shekhar Jha is a lawyer with the Supreme Court. T.R. Kakkar is former commissioner of the Delhi Police. Abha Singh, advocate and activist, and Amber Zaidi, social activist, also joining us. Shashank Shekhar Jha, let me start with you first. I mean, it's absolutely befuddling how someone who was in a relationship with a young woman, whatever disagreements they may have had, actually kills her and then cuts up her body into 30-35 pieces, puts it in a refrigerator and lives in that house for the next 2 to 3 months. In fact, over 3 weeks, he then goes to the forest area to dispose one body part after another. I mean, if this is not a rarest of rare, I can't think of any other case.
Namaste. I guess this is really worrying about the fact that there are n number of couples who are currently residing in live-in relationships away from their parents, and if something like this happens, and even the parents get to know about the incident after say 3 months or say 4, I guess that is really worrisome. The more important fact in this particular case is 2. 1, who are the accomplices? 2, what are the motives? Now, I cannot believe, because I am a law student, so for that point I cannot believe that Aftab has done this entire murder all alone, and after that cutting body into pieces, say 35, and then disposing it off within a span of 2 weeks, like you said. So I guess that is difficult to be done by one person. And point number 2, that the motive. Right now we know, as per his own statement, which he have also changed multiple times, the latest statement he says that he murdered his girlfriend because of the fact that she was pressurizing him for marriage. I have a doubt, because even if someone is pressurizing you for marriage, and if you do not want to have a married life with your living partner, you can break off, you can say remove her from your house, or you can evict the house, etc., etc. But to say that you murdered her, chopped her because of this particular pressure, I have a doubt. And we need to know, the investigation agencies must get into the details as to what exactly led to this incident.
Let me ask T.R. Kakkar. I mean, the police's job is going to be extremely difficult. First of all, this body was chopped up into different parts. It was disposed back in the month of May. It's been 6 months since. So I'd be surprised if any body part of any consequence can be retrieved and then forensic analysis done on it. Much of it would have decomposed. And secondly, all that the police have right now is the so-called confessional that this man Aftab has made before them, which is not even admissible in a court of law. Mr. Kakkar.
You see, this is one murder
which will require a lot of hard work by the police, because the entire case is now based on circumstantial evidence which has to be scientifically investigated by the investigating officers. Now, what we need to do is really we have to establish that the two of them lived in that house, that the two of them, when they came from, eloped from Bombay, lived in a hotel in Paharganj, and then find traces. As per his own statement, he is alleged to have killed her in the same flat, in the same house.
Yeah.
Now, I am sure he must have tried a lot, but the blood must have flown into some crevices somewhere. Very scientific investigation will reveal traces of blood even today. Now, those traces will have to be collected, and if they are lucky to find a part of the flesh somewhere, which I doubt very much, then it is DNA profiling will be able to link the two.
No, but Mr. Kakkar, isn't it worrisome
if she
that
has any other,
here is a man who has cut up his girlfriend's body, and he's traveling every night at 2 a.m. across the city of Delhi to dispose the body part, and you know, no one seems to, he never got stopped at a Nakabandi, he never got stopped by any of the night patrollings.
This only shows his mentality. Now, night patrolling, you see, obviously night patrolling does not stop people who, there are hundreds of people who are traveling at night. So, night patrolling does not, so I think.
But Kakkar Sahab, nobody is traveling with a human body part. You know, and he's done it not once or twice, he's done it over 18 days.
Small number, please. He is not carrying a gunny bag. He is carrying perhaps some little piece of flesh, maybe 2 kg, maybe.
No, it's isolated from where people live. It's a very crowded locality. None of the neighbors heard a sound or had any suspicions. Here is a guy going out of his house at 2 a.m. every day for 3 weeks with a human body part and disposing it off, and no one raised an alarm. Abha Singh.
Absolutely, Zaka, you've raised a very relevant question that what about the Nakabandis, how he managed to slip every day and he had a pattern how that he was disposing of one body part. And also the guidelines are very clear that whenever someone rents a house, they are supposed to inform the local police station, and the police maintains a record. So whether that was done or not, and when they had eloped from Mumbai, I think it was very important. In fact, a lot of gruesome murders are taking place like this. In fact, if you see the NCRB records of 2021, Delhi had almost 11,673 violent crimes. So we have to go to the root cause. What emboldens people like this to commit crimes? In fact, if you go to the Chhavla rape case where the death penalty was converted, it was waived off, and it was equally gruesome, and the case could not face the trial properly. So here now what is important is not the mindset, but the issue is whether police has been able to recover the knife with which he cut this girl. Then also other evidences are required to make a foolproof case, because people are making a mockery of the law. Even if you're talking of death penalty, that will come at a later stage. Meanwhile, so many cases are happening. So we need to know why we are unable to prevent such crime from happening, and why 6 months it took. Only when the father came, a missing complaint was filed. What was the neighbor's duty? You're very right. What was the landlord's duty? These things need to be looked into. The public apathy is something which is very important. And the big crux is now on interfaith
these were two
like
people
if young couples
supposedly in a
like
relationship,
this, do we need
and
to
of
make
course,
a register for
in
that?
any relationship, as all of us know, you are free to have differences. Sometimes those differences become so big that the relationship itself is called off. But to actually not just kill somebody you've been in a relationship with, but cut up her body, store it in a refrigerator, and then have the deviousness of mind to go out and dispose that part by part over 18 days. Surely, I mean, surely either Shraddha herself should have known about this, or her family members should have known about this. I mean, how can such a sick mind not be identified? Amber Zaidi.
I have never come across any horrific case in my life more than more horrifying than this. This happened 6 months ago, and there was not even a whisper of it. This is more heart-wrenching. This heart-wrenching incident happened in Delhi, where a woman was killed by her boyfriend or a live-in partner who cut her body into 35 pieces, and he was dumping his pieces on the same pattern every day at 2 a.m. at night, and nobody noticed. Nobody took alarm on even the neighbors, the family, the friends. What took so long for family to take initiative about the girl? Nobody was concerned about the safety and security of the girl. I understand that she flew away from the family, and nobody was agreeing their relationship. They were not allowing her to get in relationship with this boy. But at least they should have been more, concerned about her security. She was not active on social media, and she was nowhere to be seen, and nobody took concern about her. Nobody noticed that she is alive or not. We, every time when something like this happened, we show our concern. We light up the candles. We do candle march and placards and everything. But we never as responsible society, are we really concerned about the girls around us? Are we really paying attention that how are girls around us being treated, about this security and safety? We as whole society and police, we all are responsible for this. We are failing our girls every day.
No, so I want to ask Shashank Shekhar Jha. I mean, he goes out and buys this refrigerator. He buys a chainsaw which he uses to cut up the body. He goes to work every day after this.
Exactly.
What sort of people are there as his colleagues and people at his workplace that they don't see any suspicion? They don't raise any suspicion,
Exactly.
or is he
is what my
so
question is,
immune
that
to human
how nobody
emotion
was concerned.
that he's able to
The same man,
fool all
he
of them?
was
No,
dumping
definitely.
Shashank
littering his
Shekhar,
body-
yeah.
her
Yeah, I
body
guess-
parts
Amber, give me a
every
moment,
day
please.
at 2
Yeah,
a.m.
Shashank Shekhar, please.
Yeah, I guess there are 2 points here. One, I completely stand with you when I say this with great responsibility that this cannot be done by one person. There must be accomplice in all 3 acts. 1, murdering the person. 2, disposing of the body. And 3, to keeping the evidences or the incidents hidden by the public. And point number 2, we need to understand that circumstantial evidence are very weak. So this case must be strict. And go by the fact, and more evidences should be collected in order to bring this matter to the disclosure. We need to understand that Supreme Court recently acquitted all the accused or the convicts of Chawla rape case. That also happened in Delhi because of the fact that there were only circumstantial evidences, but could not get supported by the facts. So in this case also, we need to not repeat those mistakes, and everything should be watertight, because all those statements made by Aftab before the police are not admissible. All those circumstances could not lead him to conviction. So this.
Kakkar Sahab, I think you should, in light of what happened in the Chawla rape case, I think it does raise serious questions about whether the police will be able to prove in a court of law the ghastliness and the grisliness of what Aftab did.
The Chawla rape case, just because you mentioned, the trial court, the High Court upholds the trial court awards, the High Court upholds the conviction. Now there is the Supreme Court obviously lets off the accused persons. Now I think the least I can say is perhaps the courts do not have faith in each other's ability. That's all that I can say. Now in this particular case, I agree with Mr. Jha that circumstantial evidence alone in this is going to prove or disprove. He is now in police custody, and let us be very, very clear about it. The reporters, everybody else, the statements being made by somebody in the police, not everything is being revealed to you, and they don't have to reveal. If I was there, I would probably generally satisfy people that this is being done. The police definitely are in Delhi police particularly are very capable of finding out what exactly happened, how they are going to connect the movement right from Bombay to this place. And Amber, as Zadi, as she says, now the responsibility of the family also should be, but as a police officer, I don't want to discuss that. For me, the crime has taken place in Delhi.
I beg to differ.
The crime has taken place.
It's in the same Delhi that we saw the Nirbhaya case also. The Chawla case that we all referred to, also the origins were from Delhi.
Perfectly
now,
all
look,
right.
Look,
Perfectly.
I have nothing against the Delhi police,
Nirbhay case was worked
but
out.
fact is that even in this case, it came to light only 6 months later. This crime happened in May. Today we are in the middle of November.
Nirbhay case was worked out, and conviction were the accused were convicted.
Of course, that was
So
after huge nationwide outrage, media pressure from civil society.
When this sort of
I don't want to get into all of
committed,
that. You know, why should it be that only when
this
the
sort of
media
crimes
takes
are
up a
committed, these
case,
are
only when
blind
it comes into the
crimes. These
public
are blind
domain
crimes.
and there is so
And
much
let me assure
outrage
you
that the police also sort of stir themselves into action? That needs to be asked. That question needs to be asked,
let me assure you that the Delhi police particularly are quite capable of connecting the entire dots and reaching, finding out exactly what exactly happened, and I'm sure they will be able to charge sheet this case.
Okay,
because
give me a moment because I'm getting more details on this story. Now the National Commission for Women. Now the National Commission for Women has also stepped in. They have sought a detailed report from the Delhi police over this murder. The NCW chief Rekha Sharma has told CNN News 18, and I quote, that since the accused is already arrested, we have sought a detailed report from the Delhi police and all relevant and supporting documents. We'll review the report and decide further course of action. Abha Singh, what can the NCW do? I mean, like I said, the police itself sort of stumbled upon this case 6 months later, and even now they only have this so-called confessional that Aftab has made to them, which, like I've been saying, is not admissible in a court of law. They have to find the body parts, they have to be able to recover forensic evidence from there. That forensic evidence needs to stand at the test of evidence in a court of law. This is easier said than done to be able to prove this.
Absolutely, Zaka, you're very right. It's very easier said than done. In fact, NCW is a toothless body. If it had been active, they should have been the ones to have gone to the police and said there is a young girl who's missing, and you look into it. Now coming at this stage and just coming and giving a statement serves no purpose. We know the DCWs and the NCW is all toothless, and their stating also has no worth. But now coming here in this case, at least one thing I would like to convey through your channel today, Zaka, that parents of the girl also have a responsibility. Do not just shoo your children away because they have fallen in love, because at such cases children become very vulnerable, particularly girls. Such heinous offences are happening against girls, so it is better be in touch with your children and make sure that they are safe. Now coming to the legal part of this, yes, the statement, the accused will turn hostile, will say I have given this statement under duress from the police, and as it is, we know the statement given to the police is not there in the court of trial. It will not stand. So I think relevant forensics are required. The knife is needed to be recovered. The body parts and the DNA needs to be done, and it should be done in a fast track court. But coming to the basics, even if it's a death penalty and it is overturned later, so I think all these things, these loopholes need to be plugged, because I can all see from this gory murder that criminals are emboldened and they are ready to do anything.
No, so Ambar Zaidi, you know, the parents of Shraddha, why they took such a long time to report that she had gone missing. Apparently, they decided to, file a missing persons complaint only after her updates on Facebook stopped. Now, it could very well be that Aftab, if he had access to her devices, he could have been posting on her behalf. It's only after the updates on Facebook stopped that they decided to file a missing persons complaint. So, surely questions are being raised as to why and how the parents of a child can, just let her go just because they have a difference of opinion on who she should be in a relationship with. Secondly, and like I said, here is a man of deviant mind killing his girlfriend, chopping up her body into 35 pieces. Every night at 2 a.m. he steps out from his house, goes 3-4 kilometers away to this forest area, dumps a body part, comes back. He does this for a good 3 weeks straight, and nobody knows. Nobody in the neighborhood knows. None of the police patrols know. Beat constables know. Nakabandis, he never gets stopped. I mean, how is it possible?
Exactly. That is what more alarming, that nobody took notice that on the same pattern repeatedly every day, he is dumping or littering her body parts every day in the forest area. Neither the neighbors, the guards, and the Nakabandi police, nobody took notice. This is what surprises me the most. Every day, so many incidents are happening with girls, be it rape incidents or murder or something like that. But what never changes that these crimes are increasing every day. We have enough laws and everything in our country. Even the law, the fast track courts are there and being formed in some cases. But what are we getting? The implementation of laws are not stringent. We have to make sure that the culprits are being, served. They should get punished on time and as fast as possible. So that at
Shashank
least they have
Shekhar, is it a question of investigative abilities, ability to prove cases in a court of law? Because the laws are there. After Nirbhaya, laws have been strengthened. And I don't want to get into the details of how it's been strengthened, but I don't think the issue is a lack of the law. The law is certainly there.
I guess we are currently high on our emotions, but then the law or for that point procedures run through strict codes,
scrutiny,
which is for that point CRPC as of now, and the Evidence Act. Now it clearly says, and like someone else was saying, that only circumstantial evidences or say for that point statement before police under 161 CRPC cannot hold someone a convict before the court, and these things takes time. So I guess the best part which Delhi police can do right now is they have this forensic department. Home Ministry of India has currently approved Delhi police to have forensic departments in every police station. So they must put all their strength in proving this case right before the court, and they must look into two aspects which I am trying to say again and again, because criminal jurisprudence works on those. One, that the people who are supporting this case, all those who are involved in this case directly or indirectly, and point number two, the motive, because unless you prove a motive, you cannot convict a person for a
and the most important thing, of course, even if they are able to recover these body parts, we don't know in what state or what condition it is going to be now, because remember, this murder happened in May. Today we are in November. Much of this would have decomposed, much of it being thrown into the open forest. There apparently is a lake in that forest area where a large number of these body parts were disposed of. We'll leave it at that, but like I said, this is a shocking case, and as you go to bed tonight, just think of your children. Don't just leave them away just because they got into a relationship that you don't agree with. They are your responsibility throughout. That's a wrap. Thanks very much for tuning in. Good night.
Good evening. Thanks a lot for staying with us here at CNN News 18. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Ridhima Bhatnagar. NCP leader Jitendra Awhad continues to make news for all the wrong reasons. Last week, he barged into a multiplex with his supporters in Thane in Mumbai and stopped the screening of the Marathi film Har Har Mahadev because he believed the filmmakers had misrepresented Chhatrapati Shivaji. The NCP leader with his supporters ruffled up viewers and was even seen manhandling one while he escorted him out. Today, another case was filed against him for touching a woman inappropriately and for outraging her modesty. The NCP leaders denied all allegations against him, calling it vendetta politics. Even as Jitendra Awhad has stepped down and resigned, owing to pressure, his supporters have taken to vandalism out on the streets. The NCP supporters said that law and order situation is being ridiculed in the state. The protesters blocked the Mumbai-Nashik highway. They burned tires as a mark of their protest. While right to protest is a guaranteed right under democracy, but the question is at what cost? Can hooliganism really be defended?
आम्ही काय माफी बिफी मागणार नाही. आम्ही लढलो शिवाजी महाराजांसाठी, आम्ही लढत राहू. पण हा पोलिसी बळाचा वापर कुठला? खरंच आम्ही गुन्हा केला ठीक आहे, पण तो त्या गुन्ह्याला मला काय बोलायचं?
So as I said, 2 complaints, but the NCP leader and supporters continue to be defiant. Let's first break down the details in terms of what has happened so far, what have the complainants said, and how has the NCP defended their leader. Now the first is, of course, forcibly pushed me out of the way during the event. This is what Preeta Rashid, the complainant, has claimed. Awhad's counter has been, you see the full video, it proves that the charge is baseless. That's just one part of the problem. The other is, Awhad held me by my shoulders and pushed me aside, is what Preeta Rashid is saying. Awhad's counter is, video clearly shows I asked her to move out of the crowd. But the video is there for all our viewers to see, and that speaks a clear story. The other point here is, this is what Preeta Rashid has said. He asked me why I was standing in the middle and asked me to get out. The counter here has been, invoking section of outraging modesty is completely fake. But this was only one complaint. Remember, there was another complaint where he was alleged that he actually manhandled a lot of people when he wanted to stop the screening as far as the film Har Har Mahadev is concerned. But this is not the first time that Jitendra Awhad is actually finding himself in a lot of trouble. He's faced charges of harassment and assault even before. Let me break down